Welcome. Today's class is going to be a great lower back release. We'll get into the hamstrings a little bit. This is an awesome standalone class, or you can do it as a warm-up before a workout or a post-workout. You're going to want to have a block handy. If you don't have a block, you can take books and wrap them with a blanket just to pad them a little bit. All right, so let's get right into it. We'll come onto our backs. Let the feet come together and the knees drop open. Let your hands go wherever they'd like to go. You can bring them to your thighs. You can take one to the heart center, one to your abdomen. You can let them fall open. This is one of my favorite ways to start my practice. Soften your eyes or close them. Go ahead and part your lips. Before I really come into my breath, sometimes I like to do an exaggerated, deep exhale. I find it very cleansing and releasing. So let's go ahead and do 3 of those. We'll take a deep inhale through the nose. I want you to pause at the top of your inhale, and then an audible exhale through the mouth. Doesn't that feel good? All right, let's do 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhaling. One more. Let's release the legs. Now bring your feet wide so they're mat distance and let your knees fall in. From here, bend your elbows. Think of like goalposts with your arms and let the palms come up towards the sky. Lift your tailbone and then release your bottom down. Let the knees fall in a little bit more. When we want to release lower back pain or tension, we want to think about elongating the spine. We also want to open up the psoas muscles, which are huge. They come through the front and the back of the body, going into the hips and the core. One more breath here. Okay, release the arms, heel toe the feet back in. A little closer, not all the way to hip distance, and we're just going to sway side to side. Think windshield wipers of your car. One more time each way. Heel toe the feet back together, hip distance. Draw the knees in, give yourself a squeeze here. Let your hands come to your kneecaps, and we'll take the legs in towards the chest, away from one another, away from the body, and then back in. Lubricating all the joints. Let's switch directions. Great, release. Let your arms come out to the sides, or again, those cactus arms, palms face up. Stacking your knees over your hips, let the legs fall over to the right. If you find that you're extra tight in your lower back, You can shift the hips over just a little bit and then go ahead and drop them over. From here, keep your left hand as it is. Bring your right hand to the top of your left thigh. Just deepening the twist a little bit. It's okay for your neck. I want you to look to the left, but otherwise to the ceiling is fine. Releasing the right hand from the top of your left thigh. Go ahead and bring your feet back into center. So if you need that little sway of the hips over, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to lift our feet up off the mat and drop the knees over to the left side. Keep your right shoulder on the floor and your left hand comes to the top of your right thigh. Releasing your left hand, bring your legs back into center. All right, grab your block. We're gonna stick it underneath our bottom, or whatever you're using. Feel free to pause the video to set yourself up. And the arms are gonna come along the sides. Feet are hip distance. And I want you to feel the bottom drawing towards the back of the knees as the heels are energetically pulling in towards the shoulders. And from here, pressing into your feet, we're just going to slowly lift our bottom up off the block. And then lower down. Warming up our quads. Again, press your feet into the mat, lift the bottom up. Looking for that space throughout the spine. Then lower down. We'll do 2 more times. Press into the feet, lift the bottom up. Lower down. Last time, lifting up, hold here. 3, 2, and 1. Come on onto your block. All right, we're going to take the right leg into the chest. Interlace your fingers around your shin, and then slide your left leg out. If this is too much for you, go ahead and keep that left knee bent. From here, see if you can float your left leg just an inch. So you might be extended, you might have that knee bent. Wherever you are, you're working on pulling that right knee into the chest. Navel in, long spine. 3, 2, and 1. Bring your left foot in, release the right leg. We'll come right into the second side. Left knee draws into the chest. Interlace your hands around your shin. You're either floating your right foot or you're extending your right leg about an inch off the mat. Hips are square. Three, 2, and 1. Right leg comes back in. Release the left. Lift the hips up again. This time we're removing our block. Bring it to the side. All right, take those feet wide. Windshield wiper side to side. Bring the feet back in hip distance. Right leg is going to come up to the sky. Spread your toes and then go ahead and flex your foot. Interlace your hands around your thigh. There's no need for a strap. It's not going to be the deepest hamstring stretch that we've ever done. Again, we're just kind of warming up our body here. Keeping the navel pulling in towards the spine. And then the leg comes in towards the chest. Keep the right sit bone pressing into the mat. Then feel the resistance between the back of your thigh, your hamstring, and the interlace of the hands. Try not to lock out your knee. You want to keep a micro bend, but not a deep bend. 3, 2, and 1. Slow release of the leg away from the body. Keep that foot flexed. We're going to cross the right ankle above our left knee. Pause here. Take your right hand, where you're going to use your block, and you're going to bring it to your thigh. Work to get the knee away from the body and in line with the ankle. From here, releasing the hand or your block, and then re-extend your right leg to the sky. Take those hands, interlace, feel the resistance of the leg and the hand into one another, and then draw your right leg in closer to the chest. Foot is flexed. Right sit bone is still pressing into the mat. Don't let your bottom lift off the floor. Relax your gaze, relax your jaw. So we don't want a total lift of the chin. We don't want like a tuck here. We want a neutral neck, neutral spine. Three, 2, and 1. Release the hands from behind your thigh. Cross the right ankle above the left knee. Foot is flexed to help protect that knee. If you have to keep the foot on the floor, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. Otherwise, the left foot is going to come off the mat. You're going to take the hands and interlace them around the left thigh. From here, try and keep that right knee and ankle in line, and then working to your degree to bring the leg in closer to the chest. Remembering this is early in the practice. This could be post-workout. If you were on a spin bike or running, you might feel very tight through the hips and the hamstrings. If you've been sitting all day, this will feel good. All right, keep the legs as they are. Just going to release the hands, and then the feet are going to, the right foot's going to come over towards the floor. So I want the right knee, legs aren't moving other than just coming to the side. So your right knee points up to the sky. You're going to use that left leg to help control how tight and close you come into the body. Bring your left hand to that right thigh, and you're going to help work the knee up towards the ceiling. You should feel this in the outer part of your hip. And then I want you to bring your right shoulder down to the floor. So you've got a twist in here, and you're getting into the outer hip. Little micro movements until you find that like sweet spot, and you can dial up your spice factor as it applies to your body today. Nice job. One more breath. Release your left hand. And then use your core to help draw the legs back up to center. Left foot comes back to the mat. Take your right leg high. Knee comes into the chest. Extend your left leg. Give yourself a squeeze. Release your right foot. Bring that left knee parallel with the right leg, and sway side to side. And she'll open the legs. Okay, let's find our way to the second side. So the left leg goes high to the sky. Flex your foot, excuse me. Interlace the hands around the thigh. Really feel that connection of the leg and the hands. Engage the core. Keep your left sit bone pressing into the mat, and the leg is going to come in towards the chest. Go ahead and release. Cross the ankle over your right leg. The block is going to come to the thigh, or you're going to use your hand here. You decide what feels better for you. Just maintaining that flexed left foot to help protect your knees. Another breath here. Go ahead and release your block or your hand from the thigh. Re-extend. Left leg to the sky. Interlace your fingers. You're drawing the leg in towards your chest. And this isn't the deepest hamstring stretch you've probably ever done in your life, and that's okay. This is about being kind, being patient, and letting the body open up slowly. We're not forcing, we're not jamming. You release your leg, bring your hands along the sides of the body. For a moment, we're going to cross that left leg over the right, and then lifting your right foot off the mat if it's available for you. Hands come behind that right thigh. Working on bringing the leg in towards the chest, but the knee stays in line with the ankle to the best of your body's ability. You can see here I'm using my left elbow to help draw my thigh away, so my knee is more in line with the ankle. From here, release the hands, and we're going to take it into that twist. So the legs fall over to the right side of your mat. Your left hand, so your right hand comes to the left leg. We're working on bringing that knee more towards the ceiling. We're trying to keep both shoulders flat to the mat. Making adjustments as needed until you find that sweet spot. All right, let's release. Come back to center. Use the core. Release the right leg. Left leg goes high. And then interlace the hands around the shins. Extend your right leg. All right, extend both legs. Reach those arms overhead. Get as long as you can. Props out of your way that you need to. And then take the arms along the sides of the body. So we're going to come back to that movement that we did earlier with our hips on the block. This time the right leg comes into the chest without using the hands. Float your left leg, and then you're going to engage. See if you can draw the thigh in towards your belly. Breathe here. Try and get it in as close as you can. So we're building that strength factor as well as stretching. This is going to help us prevent injury. It's going to help us alongside. So we want to think of stretching and strength as like a well-balanced meal. You don't want to have too much of the dessert and too much of the leafy greens. You want to be balanced, right? 3, 2, and we'll go ahead and switch. Left knee comes in, hover your right leg, and pull that thigh in as much as you can. You're not using your hands, so you're going to energetically pull it in, use the muscles. Nice job. Release. Bring both knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze and a little side to side. Making those circles. Switching directions. Right, we're going to come up to a tabletop position. If it feels good to take some rocks up and down, please do that. If it doesn't, then you're going to come right on up and into your tabletop. If your hair was annihilated from laying on your back, go ahead, do what you need to do to fix it so it's not bothering you and distracting you. And we want to make sure that we're stacking our shoulders over our wrists and our hips are over our knees. A couple rounds of cat-cow, again loosening up our spine. So keep the core engaged as you move through. It's not like you stick out your stomach and then suck it in. You're keeping the core engaged and you're looking for length through the movements. As you inhale, navel drops, tailbone lifts, heart moves through. Exhale, push the mat away, rounding through your spine. Navel drops, tailbone lifts, lengthen, draw the heart through. Exhale, round. One more. Push the mat away as you round. Come back to neutral, and then slide yourself back. Take your knees wide and the big toes to touch. Let your heart come between the legs. Child's pose. Come on up to your tabletop. Bring the knees back together. Threading the needle, we're going to take the right arm and bring it underneath the left. Let your shoulder come to the mat. And the hand goes as far away from the body as you can without changing the hips. You know, you'll see a lot of people do like crazy things and they extend one leg and then they go for a bind and this and that. I find that you get more out of this simple act of walking the hand further away from the body and keeping the hips behind you. You're getting a twist through the spine. And you're going to feel that nice release in the lower back. Another breath here. Go ahead and slide your right arm back out. We'll come into the second side. Left arm comes underneath the body, walk it away. Release. Left arm comes back. Go ahead and tuck your toes, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. Start with a nice deep bend to our right leg. And then switching the bend, left knee bends. Soften both legs and then bring your feet wider than hip distance. You can go as far as mat distance. Take your left hand more to the center and we're reaching the right hand towards our left leg. So you might grab your thigh, you might take your hand down to your calf, you might go all the way to the pinky edge of your foot. Then working to straighten the legs to the best of your ability. Keep the hips directly behind you. We're not swaying them out to the side. So you feel the left hip track back in line with the right. 3, 2, and 1. From here, slow release of your twist. And bring the right hand to the center line. Left hand towards the right leg. So you decide where you're grabbing. And track the right hip in line with the left. Releasing the twist, bring your feet back hip distance. Looking to the front of the mat, we're going to step the right foot forward and let your left knee come down. So pad your knee if you need to. If your knee is tender, go ahead and fold your mat over. I want you to feel square of the hips so that left hip slides forward as the right hip tracks back. We're keeping that front knee over the ankle, so we don't want to go too far forward. That's going to put unnecessary strain on your knee. Interlace the fingers, and then grow through your spine. So rather than the shoulders coming up towards the ears, I want you to think about lifting up through the spine and trying to lengthen your waist and get out of the hips. As you energetically are dropping the pelvic floor down, or the pubic bone towards the floor. So there's a sense of pulling up, getting taller as we're working on lowering here. You should feel this in the front of your left leg, opening up this front of the psoas. All right, release the left hand down. Use your block if you need to. And then we're rotating and we're twisting to the right. Right arm can come to the sky. You can also keep it on the thigh. I'm going to keep my hand on my thigh and work deeper into the twist. Sometimes if you're twisting and you have that top arm, you might feel like you're going deeper because your arm might be somewhere, but we want to think about the spine more than where the fingers might be if the arm is extended. Releasing your twist, we're going to turn towards the left side of our mat. So you're on your left knee and your right leg is straight. From here, we're getting as long as we can. Reach the right hand down the right leg. Left arm comes up and over. Let your left hand come to the floor. And the right arm comes along the side. Right shoulder draws back, lengthening here. 3, 2, and 1. Come on up. Bring your right leg in. And you're going to turn to face the back of your mat. So your left leg is forward. And extend the right leg back. Starting here, hands to the thighs, hips are squaring. Think about getting as long as you can, not just bringing the shoulders up. That's not going to make your spine longer. You're looking to get out of the lower back, the hips. Lengthening, dropping, breathing. Release, right hand comes down. Rotate and twist. You can keep the left hand right on your thigh. Releasing the twist, walk back towards the long edge of your mat. This time you're on your right knee, and the left leg goes out to the side. Reach those arms out, left hand down the left leg, right arm reaches up and over. Coming into a variation. Right hand to the floor, left arm up and over. Vashisthasana variation. Rotate the chest, don't let the left shoulder down. Open up your heart. Three, two, and one. Come on up. Left leg comes in. We'll turn back to our tabletop position. Walk the right arm forward, left leg back. So I want you to keep the hips pointing down. It's very easy for the leg to open up to the side, but we want to keep the hip pointing down. So we're using the strength of our quadriceps and our hamstrings and the shoulders and the core to support us here. All right, lifting your left leg up. You can keep the right hand where it is, or you're going to start to lift that right arm. Now, if you go either way too far, you can exaggerate it, and then you can kind of find your neutral. So if you were to open up, we don't want to be here. We don't want to be collapsing down, so we want to find that neutral ground. Right shoulder stays on the back. We're breathing here. We're activating. We're strengthening with hamstrings. We're engaging the core to support your lower back. We have 3, 2, and 1. Right hand comes down. Cross your left leg over the right. Deep breath in. Exhale, gazing over the right shoulder towards that back foot. Release. Take it into your child's pose. Knees go wide, big toes touch, heart melts to the floor. You can support your forehead with your hands, or you can reach the arms out. Rock forward to your tabletop. Bring the knees back underneath the hips. We'll go into the second side. Walk the left hand forward. Right leg slides back to start. Now feel the neutral. We want to find neutrality here. So the right hip is pointing to the mat. We're trying to keep the hips level. And then we're slowly lifting the arm and the leg. Shoulder stays on the back. Engage the core to help support. So don't go too out to the side. Don't sag too much. Find your neutral. And get as long as you can through your spine. Breathe here. 3, 2, and 1. Release. We're going to go ahead and tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Soften the legs. Walk the hands back to your feet. Take the feet a little wider than hip distance. So a nice bend to the knees, and we're going to grab either elbow. Ragdoll position. From here, release, soften the legs, bring your feet back in hip distance, and then walk the hands back out. Coming to the top of a push-up, let's lower the knees, the chest, and the chin on down. Cobra pose. So cobra pose, a lot of people, if you're not doing it correctly, you're going to feel compression in the back. So we want to think about that length as much as possible. So pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, even the pinky toes. Draw the heart forward, lengthen your spine, and then keeping the length in the spine, start to lift the chest. Don't worry about getting the belly button off the floor. We're just finding the length here, so you shouldn't feel any compression through the mid or lower back. Breathe here. This is a great strengthener for the back. 3, 2, and 1. Slide yourself through child's pose on your way to downward facing dog. Okay, looking to the front of the mat, we're going to step the right foot forward and the back heel is down. Shorten your stance, so we're not going into like a very long stance. And if you find that you're having a hard time bringing your hands to the floor, go ahead and keep bring blocks underneath your hands. I'm going to keep the left heel down. We're squaring the hip, so the right hip is sliding back as the left hip moves forward. We're looking for length. And then we're folding here, coming into pyramid pose variation. You can walk the hands back if that feels good. But again, it's equal pressure through the front and the back foot. You're feeling like your back heel needs to come up, either shorten your stance just a touch or bring your hands to your blocks. 3, 2, 1. Soften your front leg, and we're turning to face the long edge of our mat. You see a lot of people will take their feet very wide so they can get their head to the floor. I'm not so concerned about that. I'd rather you open up the inner thighs, and we're working on lengthening the spine as much here. So keep your feet a little closer together. We're going to grab our big toes. Inhale, find length. Exhale, keeping all that length, hinge from your hips. Don't worry about your head touching the floor. Try and lengthen the spine. Almost feel like if there's a wall behind you, you don't want your bottom to touch the mat, so there's a slight movement forward. Hips, knees, and ankles are stacking. 3, 2, 1. Release the big toes. We're going to turn back to the back of our mat, so our left leg is forward. We're going to bring that right heel down. Setting up for our Parsvottanasana second side. So we're inhaling length, we're exhaling into a forward fold. Lengthening here. So don't think nose to toe, nose to knee. I want you to think nose to toes. Try and kiss your shin. Soften your your front leg, and we're going to turn back through center over to the front of our mat, so our right foot is forward. I grab my block. We're going to come into a twist in our pyramid. Your block is going to be handy for you, unless you're very, very open. So left toes are pointing towards the front corner of your mat, so there's a slight angle here. We're inhaling, we're looking for length, and then we're going for the traditional Parsvottanasana. So it's that equal pressure through both feet, and we're not locking out our legs. Keep a micro bend. Then we inhale for length, lifting up halfway. This is where your block might come in handy. Left hand comes to the block or the floor, and we're rotating. Just keep your right hand on your waist. Don't worry about opening it up. Lengthen, 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 and then rotate. Right hip is tracking back, left hip is sliding forward. 3, 2, 1. Soften your front leg. Move with your block. Going towards the back of our mat. Left leg is forward. Setting up for that traditional Parsvottanasana to start. Inhales length. Exhales a fold. From here, go for your twist. Support the right hand with a block if need be. Left arm, hand comes to the waist. We're squaring those hips and we're rotating and twisting. Both legs are strong. Release. Slide the block away. Come back to a wide leg position towards the long edge of your mat. Right hand stays to the center line. Left arm reaches up. We're rotating and twisting towards the left. Weight is moving forward. Releasing left hand down. Inhales left. Exhales a twist. Right arm reaches high. Let the right hand come down. Turn back to face the front of the mat. Planting your hands, stepping to your down dog. No need to vinyasa. Look forward, let your knees come to the mat, cross the ankles, and you're on your bottom. So I'm going to turn so I face you. We'll start with this simple cross-legged position. Bring your right leg forward. We'll inhale, arms up nice and high. Exhale's a twist. Left hand to your right thigh. Sit up as tall as possible. Remember, we're not compressing. We're looking for as much space in between the vertebrae. Coming through your center, walk the hands out, coming into your forward fold. Hands come in. Change the cross of your legs. Left leg forward. Find the center of your sits bones, sitting up tall. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist, rotate to the left, right hand, left thigh, and sit up as tall as possible. Coming through your center. Walk it out into your fold. Soften between the shoulder blades. Take the round out of the upper back. Walk the hands in. And we're going to turn back to face the front of our mat. Or well, I'm going to turn back to face the front of the mat. We're going to extend our legs. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so if you find that you're rounding here in the lower back, take a moment to sit up on something. You can grab a blanket. You can also roll your mat up. That works well. Alright, so we're inhaling, arms up high. And we're exhaling, hinging. If this is too intense, you can also take a blanket underneath your belly, between the thighs and the belly. Let the head be heavy. Sits bones are connected to the mat. Working on folding deeper the longer that you stay here. Trying to walk the ribs down the legs. Release. And come onto your backs. Take the feet a little wider than hip distance and let those legs sway out side to side. Pause over to the right, dropping the knees to the right. This might be plenty. If you're looking to go a little deeper into this twist to the hips, bring your right foot to the midway on the left thigh. You don't want to go on the knee, you want to go on the thigh. And the hands can be wherever it feels good. For some reason on this one I like to bring my hands to my stomach, but you might want them out to the side. Your decision. Alright, release. If you brought that right foot to the top of your leg, release that and let the legs fall to the left. Your choice if you want to bring the left foot to the top of your right leg. It's going to just help draw the right leg deeper into your twist. And the hip opener. Release here. Bring your feet back in, and then the knees come up into the outside of the body. We're grabbing either the pinky edges of your feet or the big toes if that feels better for yourself, or the calves. Happy baby. And sway this out. From here, straighten the legs. Bring your hands either to the back of the calves or the thighs, and we're working on bringing the legs in towards the chest. So this is different than shoulder stand or plow pose. It's kind of like a reclined Paschimottanasana. Keep the sits bones on the mat. And then release. Let it go. Extend your left leg, and the right knee comes into your chest. Pressing the thigh into your belly. Keeping the leg in towards the chest. Draw it across the body. And your right shoulder comes to the floor. Gaze over towards the right. Or up to the ceiling. Returning through center, we'll switch sides. Left leg comes in, right leg extends, interlace, press the thigh into the belly. This is going to be great for digestion. It's a nice release for the lower back. Move to the twist. Come back through center. Both knees in. Give yourself that squeeze. Lift your nose towards your knees. We'll hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Let everything go. If this was a full practice for you, please take a moment in Shavasana. If this is a warm-up or a cool-down for you, take a few moments in a seated, quiet place before continuing on with the rest of the day. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.